Hello class and welcome back to Fantasy Football Prep University. I'm your host, Jonathan Diaz, aka Professor Diaz, and in today's syllabus, we'll be covering our week 1 recap. This is where we go over all the games that we played the previous week to give you guys full transparency on the results of the strategies that we utilize in all of our leagues. This year we are in 4 leagues, so we'll cover those as we go forward. Also, we will be going over our week 2 adjustments. This is where we show you guys the changes and adjustments that we'll be making to our teams in each league in real time. We'll follow that up with our 2-minute drill. This is where we cover key NFL news and notes to keep you guys in the loop and sitting in the winner's circle. Now let's get into our week 1 recap. Okay, first up in our week 1 recap, this is a 12-man double-flex league. And this league uses the NFL Fantasy app. I'm just going to point out 2 points of why I won the game and then 2 points of why the other team lost the game. The first point of why I won this game is because the tight end. I had Zach Ertz starting, but I sat him last minute in place of Gerald Everett because I took athleticism in a high-power offense over any other factors. So Gerald Everett put up 14 points, which was a pleasant surprise. Ironically, my kicker put up 14 points as well. I'm a firm believer that kickers, tight ends, and defenses win your games. Kickers, tight end, and defenses win your game. And when your kicker and tight end both put up 14 points, when most tight ends and kickers from other teams will not, you can get away with some big wins there. A key reason why he lost his game, and I'll just point out one. One is that he started a defense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who played against his starting quarterback and Dak Prescott. When you play a defense that's playing against your starting quarterback or another one of your key players, all right, you're playing against yourself. Because if that key player, in this case being Dak Prescott, plays well, then that means your defense played bad. If your defense played well, that means your quarterback played bad. And that's what happened. His defense played well, put up 17 points, and his quarterback played horrible, put up 7 points. Therefore, that cost him the game. Okay, next game up in our week 1 recap. This is a 10-man league. And I like this league because it's a 10-man league, 1 flex. However, they force you to start 3 receivers. So you have your standard 2 running backs, but now you have 3 receivers. And I like that a lot, especially in the PPR format, point per reception format. I think that's an excellent format. But nevertheless, back to the game. This game was the closest game I think I've ever played in my NFL fantasy football history. I won by 0.72 points. So instead of focusing on why I won the game, I'm going to focus on why we both almost lost. Well, why he lost the game, but why we both almost lost this game. For him, the biggest standout is that he had Devonta Smith starting. When you had Devonta Smith in there, and he had 0 points. So that already is the number 1 reason why he lost the game. The second reason is he bought too much stock into Allen Robinson. He bought too much stock into Allen Robinson without first seeing him play. So before he even saw him in the game, it's okay to have this guy on your roster, but to start him without ever really seeing him perform with a new team, and they're going against the number 1 defense, number 1 team in the league in Buffalo, it was a bad coaching decision, and it cost them. For me, I made a bad decision by sitting Michael Thomas because I thought that he was a little bit injured, and I started Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard only gave me 4 points, which is probably one of his worst fantasy games he's ever had too. So putting Tony Pollard in there was a bad decision, and also just having Mike Williams. I mean, we know when you draft Mike Williams from the Chargers, you have to ride the roller coaster. He's going to have some games where he has 3 points, and the next game he will have 30. So that's just part of the game. At this point, I don't even get mad at it. I had him last year, and I'm not even mad that he gave 3 points. I just more so expect it. I know he'll give me a big game this week. However, that did almost cost me the game, and something to be aware of next time. Okay, game number 3 from our home league here. What cost him the game is, one, playing Chris Godwin when he knew Chris Godwin was banged up, and that Chris Godwin was, even if he did play, he was going to be in the snap count. So you're asking, you basically got a receiver in there that's a receiver 3, 4, essentially, and you played him against a good team like mine, and that cost him the game. Also, I can't stress this enough, tight end play. My tight end outplayed him, and a lot of time winning these matchups depends on finding a key area where you can attack, and I always like to attack other teams with great tight end play. So that's how I was able to walk away with the victory in this game. Okay, the final game of our Week 1 recap. This is our fraternity league. This is a league with my fraternity brothers. It is a 10-man league. Usually it's a 12-man league, but it's a 10-man league this year. Standard setup, one flats. And so what cost him the game was, again, buying into too much hype. He started Travis Etienne, and again, we've never seen this guy play an NFL game. I don't understand why guys keep playing guys who they've never seen play, and the only basis they can go off of is the hype and the writers and the beat reporters. It's like, it makes no sense. It actually is insulting when you see people play these guys against you. It's like, it's almost insulting that they do that. But he played Travis Etienne. He only got 7 points, and that cost him the game. And the second reason, as like I always tell you guys, kickers, defenses, and tight ends win your game. I don't care what the other fantasy football people say out there. Kickers, tight ends, and defenses win your game. If you look at this, my tight end outplayed his. My kicker outplayed his. My defense outplayed his. Anytime I see my tight ends, I'm like, before I look at any other position on my roster, on my depth chart, once I see my kicker, my tight end, and my defense outperforming theirs, I know that this game is in the bag more often than not. So as you see, we walk away from Week 1 undefeated, 4-0 across 4 different leagues, and that is no small task considering that there are multiple players with various different playing styles and various different mindsets. So you never really know what to expect. But to be able to be consistent and successfully implement the strategies here at Fantasy Football Prep University across 4 different leagues, it was a big victory for us, and we're looking forward to repeating that performance in Week 2. But to do that, we have to make some adjustments. So one of the adjustments that I'm making, I will be starting Michael Thomas, wide receiver Michael Thomas from the New Orleans Saints. I sat him in 2 of my leagues in place of Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. I believe that Tony Pollard would have had a big game. It didn't turn out that way for various different reasons. And Michael Thomas started off very slow. In the first half, I was very happy and confident with sitting him. And in the third and fourth quarter, he took off and ended up with like 2 touchdowns. And it was a big game for him. So I'm happy for him. And he will be a set it and forget it complete starter for the rest of the season. And adjustment number 2 is I will be sitting the Saints defense. The Saints defense is a defense I'm very high on, but I will be sitting them because they have Tom Brady this week, and I'm not one to bet against Tom Brady. So although the New Orleans Saints do always play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers very, very well, they're probably the defense that gives them the most trouble. However, I'm not willing to bet against Tom Brady, so I will be sitting the Saints defense. And adjustment number 3, I will be sitting Zach Ertz again for a second week. I will be sitting tight end Zach Ertz from the Arizona Cardinals in place of tight end Gerald Everett from the Los Angeles Chargers. So, yeah, I mean, I did that last week, and it was beneficial. Although Ertz did come on strong and have a touchdown and have a fairly big game, I believe in Gerald Everett, I believe in Gerald Everett having another repeat performance where he has another touchdown and an even bigger performance now that they have Keenan Allen out. And now it's time for our 2-minute drill. And today in our 2-minute drill, we'll be covering defense. Yes, defense. I know it's not a sexy topic in fantasy football, but as a defensive player myself, I believe in defense, and I believe that defense wins games. So ignore the naysayers, ignore what the masses say about defense. Defenses do still win games, even in fantasy football. And you know this to be true if you have ever lost a game by 1 point, or if you ever lost a game by 0.72 points. Defense still do win games. They are a huge contributor to your success rate if you decide to compete and go deep into the playoffs and to the championship game. So here are 5 ways to help you pick a winning defense. Number 1, look for a defensive star at each level of the defense. At the defensive line, whether it be a DN or interior defensive lineman, at linebackers, and at the secondary. For me, it's the New Orleans Saints. I like Cam Jordan at the D-line. He's a great leader. At the linebackers, you have Demario Davis. He's a great leader. And also in the secondary, you have Tyrann Mathieu, who is also a great leader. When you have great leaders across the board and superstars at every level, you can count on big games coming and big plays happening from that defense. So number 1, find a defense that has a star at every level of the defense. Number 2, look for a defense that has an offense that forces the opponent to pass the ball. I can't stress this enough. When you have a defense that's playing ahead, they play lights out. They fly around more and they play a little bit more comfortable. For example, a defense like the Kansas City Chiefs, they usually are going to be playing with a lead, which means that the team they're playing against is playing from behind, which therefore means they have to pass the ball a lot. Whenever a team has to pass the ball a lot, it increases the margin for error, which also increases your margin as a defense for success. Therefore, meaning sacks, fumbles, interceptions. All these things lead to points, and all these points leads to your defense winning you the game. Number 3, look for a team that has a culture of taking pride in their defense. A team like the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New Orleans Saints. These are teams that have a history of taking great pride in their defense. When a team has a history of having great pride in their defense, they usually play well year in and year out, and you can count on them to get you some wins. Number 4, schedules. Look for a team that has a fairly light, easy schedule. You want at least 50% of their games to be easy wins. For example, a team that's starting their first 7-8 games with a light schedule like Jacksonville, Detroit, New England, the Browns, Carolina Panthers, etc. Teams like that where you know that your defense can perform well because either A, the teams they're playing against has a lot of injuries. B, the team they're playing against, the organization is in shambles. They're missing offensive coordinators. They have outside distractions. Or C, they have rookie quarterbacks or first-year players that they're dependent on to be the anchor to their offense. Those are teams that if you pick the right defense, they can capitalize against those teams. And those are easy fantasy football points. Number 5, fun. Most importantly, have fun. Pick a team that you have fun rooting for. Pick a team that you're excited to see them do well. Don't just pick a team and put them in because they have a projection of 10 points and you need that. Don't just go off projections. Go off a team that you can have fun rooting for. For me, it's the Saints. I like the Saints. I like the way they play defense. The Steelers as well. I can root for them. So even if they have a bad matchup or quote unquote bad matchup, I still may lean to them if there's no better options. Just for the simple fact that I can have fun, especially if the matchup projections are close and there's not a huge difference between the team that I would stream. I would probably still go with the Saints for the simple fact that the deciding factor of me picking them would be I have fun rooting for them. But that's it for now. Remember to do your homework by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, class is dismissed.